but I know that there were certain things that I brought to the role. I think my experience as a young parent, the fact that I understood kids, I felt close to them, relationships. I was really the only one on the set that was married, that had children, that had an ongoing relationship. The others didn't. I think in a way that I became sort of the stability of the show, and I think Sherwood saw that I could be very funny, but I could also bring the empathy or what is necessary for a show like that to make it. That the audience really cares about these people. And I think that's what I was able to bring and still stay within the framework of his idea, what it was he envisioned for the show. And it's a collaborative effort. I think a lot of actors forget that a lot of these creators, the producers, the directors, that they have visions as well as you, and they have the vision for the big picture. So I try to be aware of, what is their vision for this? And sometimes your ego gets in the way because you want more lines or you want the scene to be different. But, it's really about being a team player. It's making something work. And you sort of have to back off. You're not always going to be the star. You're not always going to be the one carrying the entire project. So in that sense, I think it's maybe another reason I've worked so long, because I try to be aware of what everyone is trying to contribute. And I'm not saying that's always easy, but I do try to have that awareness, because I think it's so important. Why should it just be my vision for the scene if there are other people in it? So I just think that's so important, and a lot of performers forget that somewhere. I felt very comfortable going to Sherwood. For instance, I would never wear an apron. They tried to make me wear an apron. I wanted to wear sexy nightgowns so that people could actually see, because we were the first couple to sleep in the same bed on television. And so, I wanted to make her as human as possible. And Sherwood, would kind of go along with that. I remember there was one scene where there were two young kids that were coming home with Marcia, or one of the kids, and they were not wired for sound, which meant they could not speak, because if they spoke, they got paid a little more money. And I said, "This is stupid," to the director. I said, "Kids don't come into your house and don't say anything. They would go, 'Hi, Mrs. Brady,' or whatever, but they wouldn't just come in and not utter a sound." And they said, "Well, we're sorry, they're not wired for sound." I said, "That's it. Stop it." And I so seldom ever raised my voice or said, unacceptable. And I went to the phone and I called Sherwood. I said, "This is absolutely stupid. I'll pay for it." I said, "Let the kids say hi to me and let them act like normal kids. I'll pay for it. But I don't want to be in a scene that is so totally unbelievable." So they let the kids speak and they paid for it. But if you don't do that very often, then I think people listen and you make a point. And luckily I didn't have to do it very often.